Hi, everyone. This little doc will help us to look at some important news on serving our MLs this year. First bit of news, what's an ML? That there is a multilingual learner. I like the new lingo. I'm not a big new lingo guy, but that one kind of speaks to the strengths of our students as opposed to some sort of perceived deficit just because they don't happen to speak our language as well as we do, when they might speak like I have one kid who says they speak 5 languages, so kind of focusing on their strengths. So I have in your planning document a link that you can go to, and it will open a book creator book to what will eventually be all the ESL supports. Okay, you go to your planning resource document. Okay, you know that, right? Then you find your ESL TD supports area. Okay, it might look a little different depending on the grade and the subject you're teaching. And find the link that says Multilingual Learner Resource Book, ESL. And then eventually I'll get rid of the words under construction when it's no longer under construction. But it is right now. But it has some stuff that I'll be mentioning today in this little video. Okay. Now, one of the things that's in there is highlights from the grading policy for ESL, for English learners. Okay, when you're in the book, you can click on the full document if you've got hours and hours to read. But I took the highlights. Maintain high expectations, amplify, don't simplify. That basically means scaffold, okay, for teachers who've been around the block. Provide a schedule for completing assignments and any necessary retakes if a student has trouble with getting things done in time. Realize they are translating in their head all the time. They might need a little extra time. Okay, levels are determined by the WIDA screener and access tests. And now this is different for K2 than it is for 3, but the initial formal assessment, no amplifications. 80% is mastery. If they get that, super. Let's move on. Below 80%, you're going to review the material to prepare for mastery, and then they'll take an amplified parallel assessment. Like 3rd grade through 5th grade, that would look like taking a brand new test. 2nd grade, you guys have your own way of doing it. Okay, report card grades. Now again, this is going to look different K2 to 3-5. They reflect student performance with appropriate instructional and language supports. A student may receive below grade level marks, but you should ask yourself, and you all are super intelligent, I know you're asking yourself this every 5 minutes, are the language supports present? And if they're not, how can we add those? Okay, novice MLs can be A+ students. Okay, students should not be limited from earning the highest grade in the content area. I had a student, I've said it a million times, who could tell me everything about the sun backwards and forwards and said it in Spanish. That child should have an A, right? So anyway, failing grades, D or F, never, ever, ever solely based on limited English proficiency. Okay, always include your ESL teammate in grading, promotion, and retention decisions. And if you're having trouble figuring out ways to help them share what they know or access the information, please, let's talk. Let's figure something out. All right. Speaking of which, classroom amplifications. I sent you a form last week. Please try to complete the form by this Thursday, September 15th. Okay? It's called this. Should have gotten that in the email. The form should be in the body of the email. If you have any trouble getting it, finding it, let me know. I'll email it to you again. There's some simple instructions and a list of amplifications, scaffolds you can use in class. You can use these for everybody who's struggling. No one's going to get mad at you for that. There's also a place to indicate in comments if one of your students might need more than the other students, or fewer. Let's say you got one student, you're like, I'm really thinking they're going to need just this one. That's cool. You can put it in the comments. All right, I will be working on my end on parallel reassessments of graded tests. This is grade 3, second grade, y'all do a different thing. As I learn which ones will be graded, and I will be bothering the PLCs for that info. Okay, accommodations. Read aloud math accommodations, basically our only accommodation we tend to give for third grade, for science in 5th grade too, but for third grade, it's based on their WIDA or Access Reading score. It's got to be below a 5. And you can see that on elevation, what their score is, and we'll be sharing with you other ways. So do they get a read aloud on math test? It depends on this thing. Now, you can provide it as a classroom amplification. Just remember to be pulling that scaffolding back as they approach big tests if they don't have it as a testing accommodation. If they do have the testing accommodation and they need earbuds, we got a whole big mess of earbuds we got from the ESL department. Let me know. Okay, now I'm going to get the EL, or now probably ML plans ready by September 30th. I'll make those accessible to you on elevation. Their levels, their schedules, their services, amplifications, and accommodations will all be on that doc. Boom. Okay. Also, now this is also on the book creator book that's linked on your planning document. This is already there. Our new WIDA standards. You can click on this link to read the whole big, humongous book of them, or you can click on this link to see the 2nd and 3rd grade standards, just because that's all we're focusing on. And when you do, you'll see something that looks like this. Okay. All right, happy kids. Look, grades 2 and 3. Okay, couple new terminologies. We're not doing can-do descriptors anymore. We've got, we've got language. Sorry. That's how the sausage is made, people. Okay. Trying to get back here. Okay, key language uses: narrate, inform, explain, and argue. And you can see those as they show up elsewhere in the doc. For example, here under the standards, the different language for social and instructional purposes, language art, math, science, and social studies, and the amount of those different key language uses used in those different things in your grade span. There's a lot in this document. I'm going to try and break this document down a little bit further sometime this year so you have a better idea, but it's there for you to look at. Okay. Now, I will provide another document to show you how students' current proficiency in English lines up with tasks they can accomplish. We used to call it can-do descriptors. We don't call it that anymore, but I will be working on updating that. So you can see how little Johnny or little Sally, how what her level says about her ability to, or the things you have to do to make her able to accomplish certain tasks. Okay, be working on that. I'll be working on that. So amplified materials. Okay, so that book you see linked, that book creator book you see linked on your planning document. There are going to be, they're not there yet, but they're going to be English language arts for module 1, 2, 3, and 4. The picture is going to be different for 3rd grade, and this is 2nd grade. And for math topics, okay, you can click on them and see all the resources currently available. Not yet, but soon. Right now, if you click on them, there might not even be links, or there might be dead links, but they will get there. I'll keep you updated, okay? I want to fill this up, make it an easy resource for you and the kids to use, okay? Now, Alpha. Alpha is the FA stands for formative assessment. I bet it's language formative assessment. Annual? I'm not sure, but I know it's language formative assessment. It's our new progress monitoring process. This year, it's only writing, The next year it will be more. And it, in addition to Access, will help us to develop a better picture of the ML's language development, English language development progress throughout the year. Okay, now I want to tell you about Elevation, ELL, Ovation, English Language Learner Ovation, Elevation, the resource for seeing info about all your multilingual learners, and this year, this is very important, explore some strategies, okay? So, when you're in Clever, not Canvas, Clever. When you're in Clever, you can find this app, okay? Or whatever. You click on it, and it'll take you to Elevation. You should be able to log in with your regular login and your regular login and your password. If you have any issues, ask Miss Summerlin. Anyway, right here, you can click here to see student reports and student lists. You can see all the students who are multilingual learners, including also those who, it's basically every student who has anything other than English on their home language survey, and then it lists, if it says active L or active ML, that means they are ours, okay? And it shows their scores and all that stuff over the years. You can generate some reports. Yay, that's super fun. But here's something new that might benefit you, and we only have it this year. They paid for it this year. Strategies. There are some modules and activities for you to explore on your own of things to do to help you feel more comfortable teaching your English learners. So look on here for modules. I'll see if we can do a little commercial for that at some point in time. Okay, now, do you need an interpreter? Okay, how to request interpreters. You log on to the intranet, departments, E2H, English Learner Services, click on the interpreter request form. Okay, for an event with multiple languages requested, submit a separate request for each language. If the event is virtual, the school name should be added. When entering the time for the event, include AM or PM. That's important when it says, say, 5 or 6 or 7, you know. For parent conferences, combine multiple conferences in the same language in a 2, 3, or 4 hour block on one request form so that the interpreter can come and hang out, and you can, so try to you know, group your, you know, your most, you know, like your Spanish only speaking, for example, families, maybe even within your group, your grade, to come at certain points so that that interpreter can just be put to work in a nice block of time. Submit a separate request form if there will be more than an hour break between events. Request multiple interpreters in the same language by indicating the number of interpreters needed in the additional information area on the request form. Okay, now that is all I have to say right now. I've taken up a lot of your time, precisely a little bit less than 14 minutes. Please email me if you have any questions, and I look forward to teaming up with you as we serve our multilingual learners in and out of class. Have a great day. Bye.